Good afternoon. A woman is dead following a shooting in Etobicoke this morning. Now, police are searching for the person who pulled the trigger. CTV's Janice Golding has been following the investigation and joins us live with more details. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, police are hunting for a killer this morning after a woman was shot to death on the sidewalk behind us here in Etobicoke. Now, police are calling this a targeted shooting, telling us that they were called to this scene, which is Humberwood Boulevard near Arborwood, around 7 a.m. This is near Rexdale and the 427. Witnesses say that they heard the shot, and when officers arrived on scene, they found an adult woman suffering from a gunshot wound. And witnesses tell CTV News they watched the woman being shot at point-blank range. She would be pronounced dead at the scene. Police say an adult male was seen fleeing the area shortly after the shooting. Here is more from Toronto Police and an eyewitness.
An adult male was seen fleeing the area shortly after this call. Again, we're in the early stages of the investigation, and we are trying to locate this person right now. Neighbors in the area and the community, we feel that this is a localized issue, meaning that this woman was targeted and that there's no extra risk to the neighbors.
I saw a guy talking to a little bit like for 30 seconds, and as soon as I saw them back, he shot the girl and he walked away to the southbound of 427. That's what I saw.
So you watched the shooting happen?
Yeah. I was having a coffee nearby, and the guy, when I saw them, they're just talking. They're not talking. The girl was walking by. The guy chased her a little bit. He was really close by it, and I saw something with his hand. I didn't realize nothing because I was doing my own business. And then he shot the girl, and he talked for like 10, 15 seconds. He saw the girl, and he just walked by, and he was running behind. And even I was chasing him for a while, and I thought it was not a good idea because I was trying to catch him with my phone.
Now, police are withholding the victim's name as they try to notify next of kin. However, a distraught friend arrived at the scene about 20 minutes ago and tell us that they believe the victim is a 26-year-old Toronto woman. We'll have more details for you as they become available. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to you, Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. Police are asking for your help to identify a suspect in an aggravated assault investigation. Police have identified the suspect as 21-year-old Logan Cashin. He's accused of stealing a fire extinguisher from inside Rosedale Station Monday and then attacking two people. Both victims were seriously injured. Cashin is described as roughly 5'7" with a heavy build and short black hair. Police are asking anybody with any information to contact them. And there was a house fire in Etobicoke early this morning. Crews were called to the home on Netherly Drive near Kipling and Finch shortly before 7. Residents nearby were forced to leave because of the fire, but there have been no reports of flames spreading to other homes. The cause of the blaze is still being investigated. Nobody was hurt. Still to come, the ongoing war in the Middle East is impacting global oil prices. We'll have the latest on the conflict a little later in the newscast. Here at home, gas price analysts are predicting costs could be as high as $1.90 a liter by this time next week. It comes as prices are set to rise overnight. CTV Sean Leathong has been speaking with people filling up today and joins us live with more, and I'm sure they don't want to hear this, Sean.
No, they're somewhat happy that they're getting in now, but at the same time, they know the price is already very high. It's $181.9 at this Esso in Mississauga, and many of the people I spoke with today already said that they think gas. We see gas prices spike right at the end of February. That's right at the same time that the U.S. launched the war in Iran, and they've been high ever since, but there's been some time where they're trending down. The price of oil has managed to go down, but gas has stayed high as well. Now, Dan McTeague from Canadians for Affordable Energy said that gas prices will go up tonight, overnight, about 3 cents a liter. Diesel prices will go up as high as 8 cents a liter, and they've never been that high. There may be some reprieve coming on Sunday, but like you said, there's the chance it goes up even further, flirting with $2 a liter. I spoke to some people at the pumps today. Here's what they had to say.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being horribly upset, 7.5.
I would go 10.
10. You're a 10?
Yeah.
Well, I just arrived back from a trip to the United States, and I saw gas down there at $3.79 a gallon. And when you translate that, it's about 40 cents a gallon less than in Canada. So I'm paying 40 cents a gallon for what?
I think everybody's got a budget for, especially if you've got a family, and you know, where you're spending extra on gas, you got to make cuts in other areas. You know, so if your kids are doing sports, if you're planning that vacation, you know, these things are all affected.
Now, you heard me mention earlier that Dan McTeague said that there could be some reprieve in a few days. So he says if people can hold off until Sunday, it may be a little bit better with a forecasted drop there. But the trend long-term is going in the wrong direction. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Sean. A new Liaison Strategies poll indicates the Ontario Liberals have a 5-point edge over Premier Doug Ford's PC party. The poll shows the Liberals with 38% support from decided and leaning voters, with the PCs trailing with 33%. The NDP trailed with 24% support. Meanwhile, the poll shows support for Premier Doug Ford personally at 24%.
I think people are really concerned about affordability. And so any sort of story that touches upon that is really dangerous. And so here we have stories about government ministers, government MPPs who live in the city of Toronto deciding to book hotel rooms rather than just go home. And I think for a lot of people who are struggling with bills, hydro, groceries, every month, you know, prices are going up, they're going and looking at this and saying, what is going on, right? Like, you know, all these ministers and MPPs charging their riding associations for dinners, Florida trips, travel to Montreal. And I think regular people are looking at this and saying, I don't have any of these expense accounts. You know, how is this fair?
The poll used data from a random phone survey of 1,000 Ontarians. It has a margin of error of 3.1%, 19 times out of 20. Waterfront Toronto celebrated the expansion of a park today. It includes a new launch point as well as an event space. CTV's John Musselman joins us live from this newly renovated park with more. Hey, John.
Hi, Nathan. Yeah, it's pretty spectacular down here. A beautiful view of the city skyline. This is the expansion of Biidaasige Park. It officially opened last year, but this is the western side that's being unveiled today to the public. They had a ceremony down here today with all three levels of government, federal, provincial, municipal. The mayor was also on hand, and Waterfront Toronto. Now, this is pretty amazing what they've done here. Keep in mind, this is the old Portlands. This was an industrial area. It was contaminated. It was polluted. There wasn't much happening, and there's been a major transformation of this area. If you haven't been down here in a long time, you would be really surprised at what you would see here. Trails, thousands of new trees, shrubs. There's also canals where you can canoe and cove. And also the mouth of the Don River now enters right into Lake Ontario. So there was quite a ceremony here today to welcome people to this new expansion. We also had a chance to hear from the mayor. Here's what she said just a short time ago.
5,000 trees went into the ground, as the minister said. 77,000 shrubs. 2 million plants. 2 million plants. And slowly the river came back to life. It is no longer a flood zone because the river can then connect to the lake. The salmon returned. The bald eagles came back. Families started picnicking where there had only been concrete and waste.
In the area we're standing on here right now, Nathan, it's sort of a sloped grassway where they hope to have some smaller concerts in the evenings or performances, and it would look pretty cool with the skyline in behind. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. New figures from Open Table are offering insight on the uptick in business at Toronto restaurants during the FIFA World Cup. Compared to the same time last year, the booking service says dining reservations were up an average of 18% on match days at Toronto Stadium. Dining was up 28% on average on days when Team Canada was playing. For the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina, seated online reservations in the city were up 38% year over year. Meanwhile, Ozfest is back this weekend. The street festival, which is in its 10th year, will take over Ossington between Dundas and Queen from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow. It will feature live music, shopping, as well as food from local restaurants. TTC service will divert around that and other events taking over Toronto streets this weekend, like the Beaches Jazz Festival. But there are also some more significant service changes to bear in mind. Service on Line 4, Shepherd, ends at 11:59 p.m. tonight to allow for track work. Shuttle buses will run instead. Then on Sunday, trains won't start running between St. George and Broadview until 11 a.m. And that's because crews will be replacing a beam on the Prince Edward Viaduct. That same day, the TTC's July service adjustments take effect. The changes include scaling back expanded bus and streetcar service that was in place for the FIFA World Cup. Meanwhile, there are also several GO Transit closures to be aware of this weekend. There'll be no service on the Barrie line tomorrow and Sunday. At the same time, a portion of the Lakeshore West line between Stratford, Kitchener, and Mount Pleasant will be closed for construction. There will also be no GO service between Mount Pleasant and Union Station. Finally, the entire Up Express line will be shut down for maintenance tomorrow. The start of the Canadian National Exhibition is less than a month away, and we're learning more about who will be playing at the Bandshell this year. The first group of performers was announced in April and included Lupe Fiasco, Shaggy, and Tom Cochrane. This week it was announced that Canadian acts Virginia, To Vegas, and Glass Tiger are joining the lineup. Organizers say one international headliner and an additional co-headliner are still being kept secret and will be announced at a later date.
Music is moving away from people. We're a not-for-profit, so it's our job to bring extraordinary experiences to the city and to Canadians at prices they can actually afford. So this is free when you go to the CNE and you look at the quality of what's there. And we have such an exciting year. I'm so pumped. We're going to be talking about our programming lineup with a major interactive experience and food, of course. Things are going to get spicy this year. I can say that. I can't say a lot more. And of course, all the things you're used to and love. Elvis Stojko's skating show, the gaming garage, classic wrestling, the International Air Show. So this is going to be our best CNE yet, 147 years, not bad.
The concert dates run from August 21st to September 6th on the Bell Soundstage. We have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city. Clear skies. It was a little cool earlier this morning if you were out, but the temperatures have rose significantly since then. It's turning into a lovely looking Friday. Lindsay Morrison joins us now from Pickering with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Well, Nathan, on a day like today, we could not resist but get outside and soak up this sunshine. Yes, it is a gorgeous day today. We are here at the Pickering Waterfront, which is right beside Frenchman's Bay Arena, and this is a delightful spot to come spend the early part of the afternoon, perhaps your lunch as well, and soak up this sun. Temperature-wise, it's so comfortable right now. Let's begin there with a look at the current conditions, and we are in the 20s today. We're not particularly humid. We are going to see an increase in humidity as we make our way through the rest of the weekend. But right now, 24 degrees feels like 24, and we've got a beautiful light southerly wind that's helping matters as well, and gorgeous sunshine too. Now, I do want to point out that we are slightly elevated on the air quality health index today. We are at a 4 in the city of Toronto. It is low risk in other areas, but other than a light veil over the skyline right now, it would have otherwise been a beautiful blue sky. Nothing to show you right now on the satellite and radar. It's a great looking day, a fabulous Friday with a forecast daytime high of about 27 degrees. I wish I could say the weekend is going to be just as perfect, but we do have to talk about the chance of showers and the risk of thunderstorms. That's all coming up. But for now, Nathan, sending it back inside to you.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Lindsay. Turning to the wildfire situation in this province, no new fires have been reported in the last 24 hours, and the number of active fires has dropped slightly. There are 177 wildfires burning across the province, down from 180 yesterday. The fires have displaced more than 1,800 people from their homes, with First Nations making up 12 of the 13 evacuated communities. And turning to the latest on the Canada-U.S. trade war, there's been another tariff announcement from south of the border. The Trump administration is hitting dozens of countries, including Canada, with tariffs over what they claim is forced labor in supply chains. The 10% tariff was announced just hours before previous tariffs were set to expire. Canada, Mexico, and the UK are facing a 10% tariff, while other nations are facing a 12.5% levy. Products covered under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement are not impacted. These tariffs are on top of separate tariffs impacting the Canadian steel, aluminum, and auto sectors, as well as the proposed 50% tariffs on a variety of Canadian goods announced on Monday.
Even if you're a country that probably doesn't have forced labor yourself, if you're allowing the import of goods made with forced labor, that makes it harder for my goods to compete because we're following labor rules in the U.S. We have labor unions. We have protections for our workers. And so we're trying to get every country to have the same kinds of protections we do to make sure that trade in forced labor isn't occurring so that our workers, our exporters, our companies don't have to compete against that on an unlevel playing field.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBon released a statement which reads in part, Canada has one of the most robust regimes in the world for preventing and combating forced labor and shares the United States' objective of ensuring that goods produced through forced labor do not enter our supply chains. We will continue engaging constructively with the United States on this matter, as well as other outstanding issues over the coming weeks to the mutual benefit of our citizens. Well, the ongoing war in the Middle East is raising new concerns about global oil supplies as prices continue to climb. Oil prices have risen for a fifth straight day after Houthi rebels in Yemen attacked 2 Saudi oil tankers. That's added to concerns about global shipping through the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices have now topped $100 U.S. a barrel for the first time since May. And CTV's Scott Hurst has been following this and joins us live with more. So, Scott, what is the very latest on the escalating conflict?
Nathan, good afternoon. Clashes are escalating over control of shipping routes. You mentioned the Iran-allied Houthi rebels opening up a new front in the war, threatening to shut down another key trading route, reportedly attacking 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea, threatening another avenue that oil companies use to move their crude from the Middle East to customers worldwide, along with the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened major military punishment against the Houthis if their attacks on ships continue, while Tehran has attacked ships in the Strait of Hormuz and targeted U.S. assets and allies around the region. So even though we did see a temporary ceasefire deal between these two earlier in the year, we've seen this fighting then escalate once again. So this latest round of fighting is really showing no clear off-ramp at this time, which is really adding a whole host of uncertainty once again, Nathan, for the global economy.
And Scott, what's happening in the Middle East? How is that impacting what's for Canadians?
We've already been feeling the pinch as consumers since this war between the U.S. and Iran launched earlier this year, and consumers might be in for yet another wild ride as these attacks ramp up once again. And we've seen oil prices spike again this week. On Thursday, the price of Brent crude shot up above $100 U.S. per barrel. Now, earlier today it was down a few percentage points back under that $100 benchmark, but these prices are the highest level since May, before the two sides reached that preliminary peace agreement, which, as we mentioned, has since collapsed. But overall, the volatility could again impact prices on so many things we depend on, namely, of course, higher fuel costs. If this fighting persists, that could severely drive up the cost of summer travel plans. Filling up the tank and taking the family on a road trip around the province to other provinces as well might not be as appealing. But not just filling up the tank, we've seen the impact through the months of this war on airline prices too, but also higher fuel prices impacting the cost of pretty much anything that needs to be shipped by air, land, or sea. So we could be in for another round of significant volatility, and that could trickle down to the price we pay for a whole host of items, Nathan.
All right, CTV's Scott Hurst in the CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
The volatility of oil prices has put Canada's supply in sharper focus. Now, this week, we learned more about a new pipeline from Alberta to BC from the CEO of the Crown Corporation that would operate it. CTV's Mike LeCouture has the details.
I certainly think it can be built. We already have built something like it.
The CEO of Trans Mountain believes the newly proposed pipeline can and will be built.
We were talking about the possibility of another pipeline.
In an exclusive interview with CTV News, Mark Mackey suggested the cost would be similar to the first pipeline, which was $34 billion. But he says there is a very compelling case for a new pipeline from Alberta to BC's coast.
This one is a little longer, a little bigger, more capacity than what Trans Mountain built before. But I think it's very necessary in the global context that we live in today.
The federal and provincial governments are investing in the project with the help of the Crown Corporation that Mackey heads up. Pembina Pipeline Corp has also agreed to a potential 10% stake. Prime Minister Mark Carney has also referred the pipeline to the Federal Major Projects Office for approval. Carney has pointed to the federally owned Trans Mountain Pipeline as an example of a project that is working, and Mackey agrees.
We paid $1.7 billion into the Treasury last year in dividends and interest. We'll beat that this year. You'll probably reinvest some capital in the years thereafter. This is going to be a very profitable investment for the country, the legacy Trans Mountain. I expect the new system to be the same. And the overall economic impact that that system will enable is ginormous to the country.
Asked if he believes the federal government should sell the pipeline it already owns, Mackey said he thinks Canada should hold on to it, adding it's far too strategic to the country. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
To the Middle East, where the U.S. says it finished its 13th night of strikes against Iran. Hours after that, drones targeted a city in northern Iraq, where American forces are stationed. 5 of the drones were intercepted and shot down. No injuries or damage were reported. Bahrain reported it also intercepted Iranian aerial attacks, but didn't say if there were any casualties or damage. Donald Trump says he doesn't think China or Russia are participating in the Iran war, but the U.S. president warned if they did get involved, it would be very bad for them. In Ukraine, a Russian attack near Kyiv killed at least 10 people and wounded nearly 100 others. The attack hit the grounds of a privately operated military training site that was hosting an event. Emergency crews responded to the area where 27 homes and 44 vehicles were also damaged. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian attack on a military plant in Russia killed 6 people and injured 26 others, according to the regional governor there. Ukraine has expanded its campaign with bigger and more frequent drone attacks inside Russia. An estimated 80,000 people have been displaced as wildfires burn out of control in southwestern France and central Spain. Hundreds of firefighters have been deployed, and additional ground and aerial crews were sent today to tackle one blaze. Meanwhile, another major forest fire remains uncontained further south down the coast. In Spain, the government has declared a national emergency for wildfires for the first time. Blazes west of Madrid and in a nearby province prompted the evacuation of about 20,000 people from towns. The firefighting effort is being hampered by a heat wave. Temperatures are expected to top 39 degrees in parts. Now, both countries have asked fellow European Union members for help. Well, officials are speaking at a Canada-only celebration ahead of the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Let's listen in.
Partenariat qui profite à nos deux pays depuis des générations. This bridge is a game changer, just like Gordie Howe was in his day. And we prepare to welcome first crossings on Monday. Let us remember why we built this bridge: to connect our communities and our countries, to inspire and improve lives, to create and safeguard jobs, to build a resilient future, and to build Canada strong. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Minister Robertson. The Gordie Howe International Bridge will play an important role in Ontario's economy for years to come. It will support the movement of goods, strengthen our transportation network, and create opportunities for communities and businesses across the province. It is with the province's leadership that the Right Honourable Herb Gray Parkway was constructed, offering a direct connection to the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Please welcome the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario.
Boy, what an amazing day today. I think the weather gods are looking down on us, and I just want to thank everyone, and good morning. It's great to be here in Windsor. Yes, it is my favorite town, next to Etobicoke, that's it. So along with Chief Nikki Megwich, and thank you. Thank you for your community, First Nations community, and everything that you do. I'm here as well. I want to thank Minister you're a champion up here. Are we going to have a little game after? You're a lot younger and you're a lot better shape than I am, so you better get the defibrillator out. And Lisa, man, I got to get you down to like a Blue Jays game. You have the most amazing voice. It was like, wow. You know, Canada has talent. Do we ever? And again, Minister Robertson, thank you. And Ambassador Wiseman, I guess you're up next. And then the mayor, you're after me. Greatest mayor ever. Wait until I get a call from the rest of the 444 mayors. I just want to thank Chuck and Marie and the entire team right here at Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, as well as Steve DeWitt, CEO of ACS. Thank you, Steve. And all the workers that made this possible. And there's thousands of them, including those from LiUNA, the operating engineers and the iron workers, and all the people in the skilled trades. Thank you. And it's an honor to be here, joined by Murray, Marty, and Mark Howe. And I think, what is it, guys, about 30 Howe members of the family, probably a little more than 30. And I know your mom and dad would be so proud. His legacy will be here for well over 100 years. So God bless Gordie. And I know your mom, Colleen, would be as happy as anything, too. And I was saying to you, Murray, I know your dad would be in the middle of that game when the kids were playing and teaching them, how to throw a little elbow and this and that. But today is such an important and long-awaited day as we finally mark the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. This bridge is an incredible symbol of the potential and opportunities that await workers and families on both sides of the Detroit River. When we work together across borders, just look at the relationship we enjoy. With our friends on the other side of this bridge in Michigan, and I want to emphasize, I know Canadians love Americans, and I know Americans love Canadians, and that bond will last for another over 200 years. We're each other's top trading partner. I always like saying top customer, going back and forth, with over $300 billion of two-way trade right here coming across the bridge. I always say $1 billion a day crosses from here over to Ontario. Those are staggering numbers, supporting millions of jobs on both sides of the border. Together, we produce nearly a quarter of North Americans' automobiles, sharing highly integrated auto supply chains. And you've heard this saying before, with parts crossing the border up to 6-7 times before it gets assembled in one of the plants in the U.S. or in one of the plants in Ontario. Working together, we can continue building this incredible legacy. Working together, we can make both our countries more secure and more prosperous, creating good-paying jobs and making life more affordable for workers and families. Our relationship has been challenged over the last few years, and President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month. But Team Canada has never been more united. And I want to make it clear, working with Prime Minister Carney, will never stop standing up for Ontario and for Team Canada. Ontario will be ready to respond, and any new American tariffs will not back down and will negotiate from a position of strength as a top trading partner more than half of the United States. Because I know that both Canadians and Americans are better off when we work together instead of standing apart. That's why it is so fitting this bridge is named in Gordie Howe's honor. He was a symbol of cooperation and success in both our countries, and he was an absolute champion with deep roots on both sides of the border. Born and raised in Canada, Gordie built a legacy in Detroit, and that exemplifies the shared history of our two great jurisdictions. Gordie Howe always brought people together. His success was based on hard work, determination, and maybe, as I said, the occasional elbow. But most importantly, a commitment to teamwork, something that has also defined Canada and the United States relationship for generations. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is more than a new landmark on the Detroit River skyline. It's an example of what we can achieve when our two great countries work together. Let's honor Gordie's legacy. Let's keep working together as two friends, allies, and proudly independent countries. I want to thank you, and may God bless the people of Canada, and may God bless the people of America. Thank you so much.
All right, listening to Premier Doug Ford and other officials celebrating the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge over the Detroit River. Lots of thank yous. He, of course, did touch on Trump's tariffs.
For years, the people
and he
of
did
Windsor
say
and
that
Essex County
Ontario won't back down. He also reminded us that Canada is the U.S.'s top trade partner. And he says the bridge itself is a symbol of what the two countries can accomplish together. Don't forget the celebration with the U.S. was scrapped because of Trump's tariff threats, but that $6.4 billion cable bridge is set to open to traffic July 27th after months of postponements. Ironically, the bridge meant to connect the two countries has also caused some division. Of course, we'll continue to follow that news conference, or you can say the celebration, as it continues. Let's check in with Lindsay now. Lindsay.
Well, Nathan, as Premier Ford said, the weather gods are shining down on us today. We've got beautiful sunshine in every corner of the GTA and right across southern Ontario. And it's going to make way for a pretty nice weekend as well. Maybe you're staying close to the GTA. Maybe you're off to the cottage or a campground. Here's a look at what you can expect in some of the vacation destinations around our province. It's looking like a chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday with a slight chance of thunderstorms too. So here's how that looks on the forecast radar. Coming up, we will detail your weekend forecast and talk about the trend for next week. It's all live here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
Well, we've gone through quite a bit already this summer, Lindsay, but today seems like the perfect day.
Yeah, it's so nice and calm outside, Nathan. The sun is shining. The sky is pretty blue. There is a little more air pollution today than there was the last couple of days, but we are in a really gorgeous spot of the GTA. You know, it's interesting. This Pickering Waterfront area did suffer from some storm damage a number of years ago, but just last summer, a brand new boardwalk reopened. There's a pier here. There's some great restaurants and places to get an ice cream cone, and it's just so nice and peaceful to maybe come down for a lunch break or an afternoon stroll. And to your point, today is the perfect day for it. So nice to be in Pickering. And no matter where you're joining us from in the GTA, we've got a pretty decent weekend forecast to talk about too. Let's get to it. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Now, as we take a look at what's expected temperature-wise through this afternoon, we're already at 24 degrees. We're still expecting to warm a few degrees from here. And while there is a little bit of humidity, there isn't quite what we're going to be expecting as we make our way into the weekend. And that's the fact that it's going to be feeling into the low and mid 30s in places. Feeling like 29 at the height of the day today, wall to wall sunshine. You can get out and enjoy it. You might want to find a shady spot after a while. We are expecting a sunny, dry day right throughout into the evening hours. Here's a look at what you can expect. And temperatures remaining comfortably warm right into the late evening, staying at about 21 degrees by 11 p.m. tonight. But then we are going to slip into the teens for the overnight hours. Won't be quite as cool as it's been the last couple of nights. Of course, we've dipped into the low teens. This time we are much closer to seasonal for the overnight and waking up for your Saturday morning. Your Saturday looks pretty good. 28 degrees is going to feel like 33. We have a chance of showers in the afternoon. We'll show you that on the forecast radar in just a moment. But yes, a southerly breeze that should feel quite nice out there. And tomorrow night sunset time, 8:48 p.m. Here's a look at our fly around temperatures for tomorrow. Again, a sunny, great looking Saturday for us. Temperatures in the upper 20s. It should remind you of the fact that our seasonal average is 27 degrees. And as you can see, just about everyone is going to be hitting that mark through the day tomorrow. All is clear right now on the satellite and radar. We are dominated by high pressure. However, there is some rain impacting parts of northwestern Ontario. We're going to watch that system into the day tomorrow. And then some instability develops across southern Ontario. And that's what brings us the chance of showers in the afternoon. So these are going to be very isolated, very scattered in nature. Not everyone is going to see wet weather, but of course it is worth pointing out with so many outdoor activities going on, especially on a Saturday and a Sunday. There's about 2 p.m. on Sunday. So notice a bit more of a cluster around the GTA beginning in the early afternoon. Eyes on the sky right into the early and even mid part of the evening with that risk of thunderstorms. Then we're going to clear out for Monday, overnight and into Monday. Worth pointing out, though, that Monday we once again see another chance of showers. It is a bit more of an unsettled pattern heading into the early days of next week. No particular day looking like a washout, but you may just want to keep the umbrella handy for a couple of days. And temperature-wise, we are near seasonal to finish off the month of July. And I think that's worth pointing out again, Nathan, is the fact that this is the final weekend of July. Oh, I hate to think about that in the summer, but all is looking pretty good as we inch our way into August next week. Also want to update you, Nathan, we've been keeping an eye on water quality at a couple of the beaches around the GTA, and there has been some improvement at Sunnyside Beach, but you're still going to want to take care and keep an eye on the water quality if you're heading to Bluffers Park Beach. I'll send it back to you.
Good to know. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, the Blue Jays begin a series with the red-hot Boston Red Sox tonight.
They will be aggressive and go after a starting pitcher. Off the glove of the shortstop, Williamson into left.
The Jays beat the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 yesterday afternoon, snapping a 4-game losing streak. The team currently sits 6 games out of the final wild card spot. First pitch against the Red Sox is set for 7:15 in Boston. The Red Sox recently had a 15-game winning streak snapped by the Baltimore Orioles. The WNBA's All-Star Weekend kicks off tonight with a skills competition. Tempo guard Marina Mabrey, the team's first ever All-Star selection, will be taking part in the three-point competition. She's made 82 three-pointers so far this season, which is the most in the league. The WNBA's All-Star game will take place tomorrow in Chicago. Meanwhile, LeBron James has made his decision. One of the greatest to ever do it will suit up for the Philadelphia 76ers next season. ESPN is reporting James is set to sign a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Sixers. He made nearly $53 million with the Lakers last season. The 41-year-old says he was pretty sure he played his last game when his 23rd NBA season ended earlier this year. But James insists he still truly loves basketball and has more to give. The league's all-time leading scorer believes he can help make the 76ers a championship team. He's also indicated this will be his last decision. You're watching CTV News at noon on this lovely Friday. Stay with us. A few albums that have been generating some buzz officially released today, including the newest offering from Shania Twain.
No coat, no shoes in the south in the sun, running around with my tattoo.
Twain performed the song Dirty Rosie this week on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. The song is from her new album, Little Miss Twain. It's the Grammy winner's 7th album, which is being billed as her most eclectic and autobiographical to date. Spanning several genres, Twain says the album is giving fans a taste of where she came from and how that shaped her point of view.
Spring, summer, 26, when the world is gonna end, no hope for anything.
Also out today, the latest album from Charlie XCX is titled Music, Fashion, Film, and it's the highly anticipated follow-up to 2024 electro-pop phenomenon, Brat. This time around, the singer turned her focus to the rock genre while reflecting on fame in 2026. A short film accompanying the album is out later today. Johnny Depp is making his return to the big screen, taking on a classic role in a reimagined version of A Christmas Carol.
I say to you, sir, Merry Humbug! Merry Christmas! Humbug! And a Happy New Year! Humbug!
Depp will be playing Ebenezer Scrooge, the crotchety protagonist from the Charles Dickens tale. He'll star alongside Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Ian McClellan, and several other big names in Ebenezer. The trailer says it features a name you know and a story you don't. It's out November 13th. Still to come, with a potential WestJet flight attendant strike looming, the airline is making preparations ahead of the busy August long weekend. Details on the new rebooking options available to travelers coming up on CTV News at noon.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Ahead of a possible flight attendant strike, WestJet is offering customers set to fly from July 30th to August 4th the chance to change their bookings for free. WestJet flight attendants could go on strike as soon as August 2nd. The airline says talks with CUPE, the union representing flight attendants, continue to progress, and is optimistic an agreement can be reached. WestJet Encore flights booked on a Q400 plane and WestJet codeshare flights operated by airline partners will not be impacted if a strike happens. Today is the deadline for federal workers to apply for an early retirement program. In December, roughly 68,000 public servants were given notice that they were eligible for early retirement. So far, more than 9,000 workers have applied. Federal workers approved for early retirement will need to leave by January of next year. The European Union is accusing TikTok of failing to adequately protect children's privacy rights on its platform. European officials shared the allegation following an investigation under the bloc's Digital Services Act. It found that it was much easier for users ages 13 to 15 to keep their accounts private from adults compared to accounts registered to 16 and 17-year-olds. As a result, the probe concluded children have been left exposed to cyberbullying, unwanted contact, and predatory behavior. TikTok said it would review the findings and engage constructively. The EU could issue a fine depending on how that process plays out. Coming up, a farm in southwestern Ontario is attracting visitors who want to see its animals with outsized personal ties, or make that personalities. We'll have more on our Days of Our Livestock when we come back. After a wedding ceremony last year, 2 miniature Highland cows in southwestern Ontario have welcomed a baby calf. However, as CTV's Alexandra Holick tells us, just like with human relationships, the pair have had to overcome some hurdles.
It was just over a year ago that Muriel and Rhett joined together in holy matrimony for a first-of-its-kind cow wedding. Hosted at Utterly Ridiculous Farm in Oxford County, the nuptials drew big crowds and produced a big bundle of joy.
We have the most beautiful little baby Joe from the two of them.
Baby Joe was born in March, happy, healthy, and with his best hoof forward.
You would think happy ending, everything is perfect, but like in any relationship, there were some struggles. Rhett, unfortunately, has had an affair with Muriel's best friend, Cookie. And we know this without a doubt now because she had a baby.
When Ginger Snap was born earlier this month, the two-timing bull was put out to pasture.
I've been talking to Rhett about rebuilding trust and what it takes for a long-lasting relationship. It's going to take some time.
The couple is back in the same corral for now.
Muriel, is there any chance that you'll take Rhett back? It's too soon to say.
In the meantime, the farm has seen a boost in visitors hoping to catch the cast of four-legged characters, all with their own personalities.
We've named it Days of Our Livestock because that's just what it's become. But we have seen a lot of people coming really wanting to meet the couple, which has been really nice to see.
The hope here on the farm is that Muriel and Rhett will move past this and go on to greener pastures with baby Joe and the rest of their growing family. Alexandra Holick, CTV News, Oxford County.
Hopefully things work out with those two. Hey, Lindsay, how are things outside?
I have to acknowledge how many puns there were in that story, Nathan. I was highly entertained. It is glorious out here. What a beautiful afternoon and kickoff to the weekend here in the GTA. We've been live in Pickering, and now we are seeing Frenchman's Bay Marina just over my shoulder here. Such a great spot to spend a summer afternoon. Let's take a look at the UV index for today, and just about everyone is high or very high this afternoon when it comes to the sun and its strength, so don't forget the SPF before you venture out into this afternoon. If we can, we'll also show you our overnight at a glance tonight. 18 degrees is what we're forecasting for a low. Tomorrow's temperature in the upper 20s. The weekend forecast is looking pretty good too, although we do have to point out that we have the chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Slight risk of a thunderstorm also, especially on Sunday. And then temperature-wise, we are trending near seasonal to finish off July. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Nathan, back inside to you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca. For Lindsay Morris and all of us here, have a great day. I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Take care. That's all.